A female janitor just saved a company from a $100 million collapse. But the real question is, who is she really? The polished marble floors of Global Innovations, Inc. gleamed under the relentless fluorescent lights, reflecting the hurried footsteps of executives and the hushed urgency of their conversations. Every corner of the building, from the sprawling open-plan offices to the exclusive top-floor executive suites, hummed with a palpable tension. The source? A staggering $100 million problem that had brought the company to its knees, threatening its very existence. Sarah, with her dark skin and quiet demeanor, moved through this high-stakes environment like a ghost. Her uniform, a simple gray tunic and trousers, blended seamlessly with the background, making her virtually invisible to the frantic suit-clad figures who barely registered her presence. She was the night cleaner, her shifts beginning when the last of the stressed-out employees finally dragged themselves home, leaving behind a trail of discarded coffee cups, crumpled reports, and the lingering scent of desperation. But Sarah wasn't just cleaning. As she meticulously wiped down desks and emptied bins, her sharp eyes scanned the whiteboards, the scattered printouts, and the open laptops left carelessly by exhausted staff. She absorbed the complex financial models, the market analyses, the failed strategies, and the endless, convoluted flowcharts that attempted to pinpoint the source of the company's monumental losses. The $100 million deficit wasn't just a number to her, it was a puzzle, an intricate web of miscalculations and overlooked variables. For weeks, the air had been thick with the scent of panic. Board meetings ran late into the night, their heated discussions echoing faintly through the silent corridors. The CEO, Mr. Tariq Al-Hamad, a man known for his astute business acumen and calm under pressure, now showed visible signs of strain. His usually immaculate suits seemed a shade too rumpled, his dark eyes shadowed with worry. He had brought in external consultants, spent millions on new software, and even implemented drastic cost-cutting measures, but the bleeding continued. The $100 million problem remained a stubborn, impenetrable wall. One Tuesday night, after a particularly grueling board meeting, Sarah found herself in the main strategy room. The massive whiteboard, usually covered in a chaotic jumble of ideas, was now starkly blank, save for a single frustrated scrawl. 100 million loss. How? The executives had left, defeated, the room heavy with their collective despair. Sarah paused, her cleaning cloth still in hand. She looked at the blank canvas, then at the discarded reports on the table. A detailed breakdown of supply chain inefficiencies, a market trend analysis, and a competitor's recent success story. A solution, elegant and deceptively simple, had been forming in her mind for days, piecing itself together from the fragments of information she had passively absorbed. It wasn't about a single grand strategy, but a series of interconnected minor adjustments across several departments that, when combined, would stem the flow and even reverse it. Without hesitation, Sarah picked up a marker. Her hand, usually accustomed to wielding a mop, moved with the precision of a seasoned mathematician. She began to write, her thoughts flowing onto the board in a clear, concise manner. First, a diagram of the supply chain, highlighting the bottleneck that was causing significant delays and cost overruns. Then a series of bullet points detailing how a minor investment in automated sorting at the distribution hub could shave off millions. Next, a brief analysis of the competitor's pricing model, revealing a subtle but critical error in Global Innovations' own pricing strategy. She outlined a dynamic pricing algorithm that would optimize revenue without alienating customers. Finally, she drew a simple yet profound flowchart illustrating how cross-departmental communication could be streamlined to prevent future silos and missed opportunities. The entire solution, a comprehensive blueprint for recovery, was laid out in neat, legible handwriting. It was brilliant, insightful, and utterly unexpected from someone who was supposed to be merely cleaning the room. Sarah stepped back, admired her work for a moment, and then, with a faint smile, resumed her duties, leaving the masterpiece for the morning. The next morning, Tariq Al-Hamad walked into the strategy room, his shoulders slumped, ready for another day of crisis management. He stopped dead, his eyes, usually scanning for problems, now fixated on the whiteboard. He blinked, then blinked again, convinced he was still dreaming. The solution, so clear, so logical, so right, stared back at him. Every point was meticulously reasoned, every calculation precise. It was a revelation. Who did this? He murmured, his voice barely a whisper. He ran his hand over the smooth surface as if to confirm its reality. No one in his team, no consultant, no expert had come close to such a comprehensive and elegant answer. He immediately called an emergency meeting, presenting the findings to his stunned board. They dissected it, debated it, and ultimately unanimously agreed this was their salvation. But the question remained, who had written it? Security footage from the night before showed only one person entering and leaving the room, Sarah, the cleaner. Tariq, intrigued and bewildered, ordered his assistant to find her. Sarah was in the middle of polishing the brass elevator doors when Mr. Al-Hamad approached her, his imposing figure casting a long shadow. He was usually surrounded by a retinue of assistants, but now he was alone, his expression a mixture of awe and disbelief. "Sarah," he began, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant. Did you write on the whiteboard in the strategy room last night?" Sarah straightened up, her gaze steady and calm. "Yes, Mr. Al-Hamad, I did." Tariq stared at her, speechless for a moment. "But how? This solution, it's brilliant. It's going to save this company. Who are you, really?" A faint, almost imperceptible smile touched Sarah's lips. "My name is Dr. Sarah Jenkins. I hold a PhD in applied mathematics and a second one in cognitive science. I completed my doctoral studies and became a full professor at a rather young age." Tariq's jaw dropped. "A professor? But why are you—" He gestured vaguely at her cleaning uniform. Sarah chuckled softly, a sound that was surprisingly melodious. "After years of relentless academic pursuit, of constantly pushing the boundaries of knowledge, I found myself quite bored, actually. The intellectual stimulation was immense, but the routine, the endless papers, the conferences, it became monotonous." She shrugged. "I also have a substantial passive income from some early investments I made in tech startups, enough to live comfortably without working a day in my life if I chose." She paused, her eyes twinkling with a quiet amusement. "So, I decided to take a sabbatical from the academic world to experience life from a different perspective, to simply be a normal person for a while. Cleaning allows me to observe, to think, to process without the pressure of deadlines or expectations. It's surprisingly therapeutic." Tariq was still trying to process this information. A cleaning lady who was a brilliant, wealthy board professor. It was like something out of a movie. "And what are your plans now?" he managed to ask. "Oh, I'll return to teaching eventually," Sarah replied, looking around the gleaming lobby. "When the boredom of normal life sets in, and the intellectual itch becomes too strong to ignore. Perhaps in another year or two." Tariq's mind, ever the strategist, saw an opportunity too immense to let slip. "Dr. Jenkins," he said, his voice firming with renewed purpose, "Global Innovations Inc. needs someone like you. Not as a cleaner, of course, but as a chief strategy officer, perhaps? Or a head of innovation? Name your title, name your salary. We need your mind, your insight. You've already saved us $100 million before even joining." Sarah looked at him, a genuine smile now gracing her face. The offer was tempting, a new kind of challenge. She had found her temporary escape from academia. And now, perhaps, it was time for a new kind of intellectual stimulation, a different kind of puzzle to solve. "Mr. Al-Hamad," she said, extending a hand, "let's talk." The CEO, still reeling but immensely relieved, shook her hand firmly. The $100 million problem was solved, and Global Innovations Inc. had just gained its most unexpected and most brilliant new asset. The unseen architect was finally ready to step into the light.